This is a story of a chef who leaves his restaurant job and decides to do something of his own, alongside getting his family together. Will he be able to do what he wants? Guess you'll have to stick around to the end to see how the whole story unfolds. Hello and welcome to Comedy Recap. Today we will give you a recap of the film Chef. Spoilers ahead, obviously. And without further ado, let's dive right into it. The movie opens with a scene in the restaurant kitchen where Chef Carl Casper is cooking food. We see him cutting vegetables, and just then Martin enters the kitchen with a pig's meat, and both start slicing it. When the staff arrives, Carl leaves the kitchen to go and meet his son Percy. In the parking lot, he sees Tony sleeping in his car, and Carl reminds him that they got a food reviewer coming, so he should go in and get the things ready. Carl then goes to pick up his son, who is waiting for him outside his house. He takes his son to the grocery market, where he collects all the vegetables and necessary items for the restaurant. Then he goes to the restaurant and gets busy preparing the food. Just then, Molly comes and tells him that Riva, who is the restaurant owner, is here. Riva comes to the kitchen. He talks to Carl and tells him that he must cook the food items present on the menu and that he is not allowed to do any experiments. Carl tries to convince Riva, but he doesn't agree. Carl asks his staff to cook the best food possible, and the same night, the staff is sitting at the bar when the review comes out. Carl starts reading it, which starts off quite well and everyone gets so excited, but as he goes a little further, the reviewer starts bashing Carl's food taste and gives it a rating of 2 out of 5. The very next morning, Carl goes to his wife's house to pick up his son. His son tells him that her mom is waiting for him inside. Carl goes inside the house and talks to Inez, and they discuss the review. From there, he goes back to the restaurant kitchen and tries some new food items. There, he comes to know about the reviewer bashing him on Twitter. At night, when he is in his house with his son, he asks him to make a Twitter account. And in the morning, Carl challenges the reviewer, who goes by the name Ramsey Michael, to visit and try his food again. Although he is planning to make some special food dishes for the reviewer, Riva comes into the kitchen and immediately calls him out on his Twitter replies and says that he must apologize to the reviewer. He also says that either he can cook the items present on the menu or he can leave. Feeling insulted, Carl leaves. Carl goes back home with all his food materials. He gets busy preparing some very delicious looking dishes at home, while Ramsey, the reviewer, comes to the restaurant to try the food again. Ramsey is served the same dishes as before, and not feeling special about it, he once again pokes at Carl Casper over Twitter. Seeing the tweet, Carl loses control and barges into the restaurant and starts bashing Ramsey. He keeps saying that, "You will not get to me," but keeps shouting at him.
It's fucking molten, see? It's fucking molten, you asshole!
People present in the restaurant record Carl shouting at Ramsey and post it online. The video goes viral in a few minutes, and we see that Carl talks to Inez's publisher regarding what he should do about the situation. Carl also talks to his ex-wife about the whole situation, and she tells him how the whole thing is putting a toll on their son. After the call, he goes to the same bar where his friends are waiting for him. They tell him about the video, which went viral and terrible, but it's funny as well, so he shouldn't worry about it. The next morning, Carl pays a surprise visit to his son, who denies talking to him. But his ex-wife proposes that they should take a trip to Miami together, where Carl can spend time with Percy while she is busy with her work. Carl agrees to it, and the three go to Miami together. While they all have their lunch, Inez's dad suggests that Carl should open his own restaurant. Inez also says to him that she can ask her other ex-husband Marvin if he is in Miami, maybe he could help Carl. Carl understands that Inez has already planned all that. So, he agrees to meet Marvin and goes to talk to him about a business prospect. Carl discusses his plan of opening a food truck business with Marvin, to which he agrees and gets him a truck, which is in quite bad shape. Carl is still looking around the truck when Inez comes and drops her son off to work with him. Both father and son get busy cleaning the whole truck. We see them both scratching and brushing the whole truck to clean all the mess. At some point, Percy disagrees with his father that he will not clean a baking plate, which is gross, and Carl scolds him for that. Later, Carl realizes that he was wrong about it, so he apologizes to his son and takes him along on an equipment shopping spree.
That's a chef's knife. A real chef's knife. It's not a toy. You understand?
They get all the equipment back to where the truck is, and just then, Martin arrives. First, Carl gets surprised, but then they both partner up and get the truck ready to make some Cuban sandwiches. As soon as the truck gets ready, they give the first few sandwiches to the workers, and then Martin and Carl plan to go back by road so they can stop at different locations on their way back. Percy hears that and says that he also wants to come along. At first, Carl says to him that he should accompany his mother and go back by plane, but later agrees. On the next day, Martin picks up both father and son on the truck, which is now all painted and shiny. Their first stop is at some random park where Carl asks Martin to get the customers, whereas the father-son duo gets busy making the sandwiches. In no time, a lot of people come and the sales go up. While they are selling, a policeman comes to them and asks them to move their truck. Before he goes, he takes a selfie with Carl and says to his son is a fan of the video that went viral. The next stop is in New Orleans. Once they reach New Orleans, Carl takes Percy along to eat some Big Net. When they come back, there is a whole crowd gathered around the truck. Carl gets confused about how so many people came to know about them. Just then, Percy tells him that he tweeted about the food truck and Chef Carl Casper being on the move. So Carl appreciates his son, and the three immediately get to work. After a very successful day in New Orleans, they drive to Texas. On their way, the three enjoy a lot of good music, and once they reach Texas, Carl goes to an old friend's barbecue joint, where he gets 4 steaks. In front of his joint, he parks the food truck and starts selling the sandwiches. As with all the previous locations, this goes successful as well. In the night, Carl and Percy sit on the roof of their truck, where Carl appreciates his son's skill and that he has learned so much about being a cook. But he also tells them that once they reach home, Percy can't join him on the truck because of his school. Percy gets a bit dull after hearing that, but Carl comforts him, and they both start listening to live music. The next morning, they reach home, and Carl drops Percy at Inez's house. After dropping his son off, he goes back home and watches the video that Percy has emailed him. It is a video with a bunch of small 1-second clips joined together. Carl watches the video and gets a bit emotional. He calls Percy and tells him that he can join him on his food truck, but only in the evenings when he is done with the homework and on the weekends. Percy says that his mother wants to talk to him, and after that, Inez also joins Carl on his food truck. One night, Ramsey comes to the truck and tries some of his food. Carl confronts him about his work and how he humiliates people, but Ramsey cools him off by appreciating the food he is cooking and offers Carl that they should become partners. We see that 6 months later, the food truck turns into a proper restaurant, opened after a partnership between Ramsey and Carl. The movie ends on the scene of this new restaurant, which is closed due to a private event. Inside the restaurant, a private party going on, where Carl and Inez are dancing together. It seems like they finally got back together. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.